I had to step away from being on the tools because I get, really severe asthma, and the dust was just killing me. So I kept being hospitalised, and the consultant was like, "Mate, you need to do something else." And at that point, I didn't want to do anything else because I liked what I did. But I had a contact who was a very sort of prominent developer. So I said to him, let's the property's very cheap in Stoke. Do you fancy sort of funding it? And
Hi, I'm Michael Allison, Commercial Director at Roma Finance. Welcome to another episode of RomaTalks, where I'm joined by people from across the property ecosystem. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. James Rogers of Poppadoms and Property.
Property and Poppadoms.
Property and Poppadoms, there you go. That showed me. I was reading your hoodie. The first person to come on in a lot of merch, I think.
Yeah. You've got to come on branded, haven't you?
You do. Well, seeing as you're on branded, James, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Yes, I'm James Rogers. I founded Property and Poppadoms. It was just over 3 years ago. Sort of background, I started out life as a tradesman, painter and decorator, and then I retrained as a plumbing and heating engineer. Went into doing my own projects, investments, and then into finance as well. So I've got quite a good rounded knowledge of the industry and all of the different sides of the fence.
I think we work a lot with the tradespeople who then want to become property developers themselves, and we feel that they're a good custodian, good customers to have. I've never met one that went into the finance side. So how did that journey happen?
So it was 2019, 2020. Had a lot of life incidents, we'll call them, divorce, stuff like that. So at that time, I was just looking for a different challenge. So the mortgage brokerage that I was using for my investments said that, they thought that I'd be quite good at it, and did I fancy giving it a go? And I just thought, yeah, why not? It certainly enhanced my ability to, or just as a whole, enhance my sort of profile, enhance my knowledge, and I didn't think it would be a bad thing. And it turns out I'd like to think I am all right at it, and I've stuck at it, and I'm now at 978 Finance, and really enjoying it there with those guys.
Brilliant. So you've been quite a few reinventions, isn't it? Sort of painter and decorator, then into plumbing, then into finance. But alongside that, you did your own projects as well. Yeah. What type of projects were you doing?
I did anything from, we've done new builds, HMO conversions, just your normal buy, refurb, refinance, purchasing through auctions, not trading, but just purchasing through auction at the right price, add value, and then flip on, sell onto the open market. I did that for quite a number of years. It was, fairly lucrative, but you get these hurdles along the way, don't you? And you've got to change direction sometimes. And I'd always feel that things work out how they should. And I definitely like to get back into investing, but at the minute, with the meetings, with the finance operation, and a single parent as well, I just don't have time for it.
I suppose you've got to, when you've got so much in your toolkit, you've got to choose which bits to do, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay, so talk to me then about Property and Poppadoms. What is it? Because I know it's award winning.
Yes, it is. We won the Blue Bricks magazine awards in 2024, and then the National Property Awards last year as well. So very proud to have won that. And bearing in mind, we're still very new. Yeah. So I only started it up in November of 2022. It's an informal meeting, networking focused, value focused, and it's proved to be very popular. We've now got sort of 50 locations throughout the UK, and it's with the largest community in terms of meeting offerings and whatnot, and people through the door on a monthly basis. So we're very proud of what we've achieved in such a short space of time.
So what made you decide to do it?
There are a number of reasons. So sort of back end of 2022, I had a really acrimonious divorce, and that basically wiped me out in terms of portfolio, any kind of savings in the bank, that all went on legal fees and whatnot. And I got to a point where I just thought, I was actually starting to feel quite unwell, as in, my mental health was suffering a bit, and it was a real difficult period of life. And I just sort of thought, right, you've got two choices. You've either got to get yourself back out there, or it's gonna make you or it's gonna break you. So I decided that I need to sort of turn it into a positive. Everything's gone, is what it is. Just need to move forwards now and rebuild. So I thought, I'm a broker, need clients, and I just thought a networking event. I'll start a networking event. And I obviously, as a broker, go to a lot of networking events, and there was nothing really available on a national level. There's some great standalone meetings, but I just saw a gap where I thought there's room for something different here. So I set up the first meeting in Stoke-on-Trent. 8 people turned up to that first meeting, but then as the months went on, it started to really gather pace and gather steam. We had people coming from all over the country to Stoke on a Wednesday night, and it proved to be very popular. So during the course of that sort of November 22 to November 2023, I thought, I've got something here, and I can look to place it in other areas of the country, and and that's exactly what I did, and it's going from strength to strength, and hopefully it continues to do so.
Wow! So you did it for really to fulfil a need for yourself as well, to get back out there.
100%, and as well, I wanted to make it relaxed and fun and informal, because if somebody else was having a difficult time, I wanted them to be able to come to the event, take their mind off, what was going on in their life at the moment as well, and just have a bit of fun, put a smile on their face for a few hours, and obviously there's got to be value there from a business perspective as well, and that's what I sort of looked about creating, and I was still very value focused. Is it in the best interest of the delegate, the community? Is everybody getting value? So that's sponsors, hosts, delegates, and we're ticking those boxes because obviously people vote with their feet, don't they?
Well, it feels like a very inclusive community, and I think that there's as you said, there's loads of really good events. There's some events that don't quite hit the mark, and there's some events that do well, maybe for the host and maybe not for the delegates. But I said, what you've done is you've created a community where people can turn up. There's a common denominator, isn't there? Yeah. And the clues in the title. It's people are going for a curry and a chat.
Yeah, and we find that relaxed environment has really sort of encouraged people to come along, because it's the exact opposite of those sort of stuffy, lukewarm coffee, people standing around. You don't really want to interrupt, but you want to sort of speak to, you feel like a bit of a spare wheel, don't you? Yeah. So it's... Yeah, I just think we're just doing it a little bit differently, and people are coming through the door. They're relaxed, and that is the biggest compliment that we get. People said that they were nervous about coming to a networking event that they've never been to before, but they've felt welcomed. They're coming in, and also they're getting value from it in terms of the connections they're making at the meetings.
Yeah. What's the format like then? So anybody watching this who's not been to one, what's the loose format?
So, turn up at 6:30, meeting formally starts at 7. Very short sort of presentation about the community, the host, some products and services, and firms that we recommend, like Roma as an example. Main speaker comes on, they get 20 minutes, and then food comes out about 7:45, 8 o'clock, and off you go, eat, network, and have fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. How many Poppadoms do you think you've done over the course of the last 3 years?
I don't know. My weight absolutely ballooned in 2024. It was horrific. I think I put on about 2.5 stone.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a porky boy at one point. But yeah, I've tried to sort of tail it back now, but the amount of Poppadoms I've done, I wouldn't even like to guess.
And what's your go-to curry?
Madras, got to be
old school.
Yeah.
Lamb, chicken, beef. What?
Depends. Chicken or lamb, I'd say. Yeah, definitely. I do like a lamb Madras.
A little bit of spice.
Yeah, a decent spice in it. Yeah, not Vindaloo, but a good strength from
That's
Madras.
interesting. I wonder, would you judge somebody if they came to the networking for the first time and they ordered like a Fal or a Vindaloo?
No, they get free entry, I think, for a year.
Well, you heard it here. So it's free entry if you have a Vindaloo
Yeah,
or a Fal.
or a foul. I've had a couple of those myself, and they're just a little bit too much.
I done a lot too much.
Yeah.
I think I need about 20 Rennies.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what kind of themes are you seeing coming from these networking events? Because obviously there's been a lot of chopping and changing, hasn't there, with policies externally that affect property investors in the last 2 years that you've been going. What themes are you finding that have come out from these events?
I mean, we're not necessarily seeing themes, but I suppose we are in terms of people seeking information and value from the meeting, support. And we try and support the delegates on a local basis, but on a national basis as well. So they've got their local collective and their local contacts, but then they can feed into other areas of the country. And then obviously we've got a first national event taking place this month in Solihull on Saturday the 31st of January. So everybody's coming together. We've got Ben Beadle as a main speaker, so he's going to cover obviously pertinent points about the renters' right situation, and it can be very localised, but obviously there's a national need for information about legislation as well.
Yeah, I think policy is national, isn't it? But opportunities can be local. I know obviously maybe the Teesside one is going to have a different focus than maybe a London one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of get that.
And then, but that's where the local host sort of taps into the need and the wants of the delegates in the specific locations, and then they deliver on on that basis. It's not from my perspective. I'm not a micromanager. It's their meeting, and they're given a framework, and they just need to operate the meeting within that framework. But they're then free to sort of have free reign, if you will, in order in terms of speakers and topics that they cover, and as long as it's not an aggressive upsell and it's of value to the delegates, then that ticks the boxes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Obviously, you're hosting the event and being part of the event and listening to the local hosts as well, and your job as a broker. Have you, and since you were last doing the projects yourselves, have you seen a shift in the type of projects people are doing compared to what you were perhaps seeing more of?
Yeah, I mean, if I think back, when I was sort of first entered into doing projects, so I had to step away from being on the tools because I get really severe asthma, and the dust was just killing me. So I kept being hospitalised, and the consultant was like, "Mate, you need to do something else." And at that point, I didn't want to do anything else because I liked what I did, but I had a contact who was a very sort of prominent developer. So I said to him, let's the property's very cheap in Stoke. Do you fancy sort of funding it? And and at that point, if I look back, it was very standalone. There wasn't a lot of, or to my knowledge at that point, a lot of what was going on now in terms of your creative deals. Seeing at the minute certainly a lot of portfolio purchases for landlords that maybe haven't managed their portfolios as they should, and things have got a little bit got away from them a little bit. So we're seeing a lot of those sorts of inquiries. Obviously, you've got your multi-unit block situation as well. That's a very popular situation at the minute. Commercially valued HMOs. Obviously 2011, sort of when I was purchasing at auction or started to purchase at auction, that wasn't a thing then. So yeah, the landscape's changed quite dramatically in just those 15 years.
Yeah. And have you seen finance appetite change in your time as a broker?
Yes. Definitely. I think the lenders are a lot more open to something a bit more quirky, creative. I mean, social housing as an example. The commercially valued HMOs. At first, it seemed to be very, I wouldn't say standoffish, but there wasn't a lot of understanding maybe around it. But as the time's gone on, there's a lot more choice in the marketplace for a lot more different strategies.
I think what I really like about the concept that you've got is that you are in the regions.
Yeah.
So that then a bit like we touched on earlier, the strategies vary from region
Oh,
to
absolutely.
region.
Yeah.
I guess if somebody was looking, you see this sometimes, maybe somebody's looking to get into property investment, they might decide to go to the northeast or
Yeah.
into Yorkshire or
Yeah.
northwest. If they've been to a Property Poppadoms down south, they can actually go to one
Yeah.
up north and flex the network.
And and that's what I mean when you've got the local sort of aspect of it, and then the regional and national.
Yeah.
So if they are an investor based in Brighton, as an example, and they want to invest in the northeast, we've got meetings in Hull, we've got meetings Middlesbrough, Newcastle upon Tyne. So, and we're looking at getting one in Sunderland going as well when we found the right host.
So they can go there and feel that similar format.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you should, broadly speaking, have the same experience at every meeting.
Yeah. How'd you pick the Indian restaurants?
A lot of market research. That's why the weight got piled on initially, because I was very hands on in the early stages. Because the first few, were really very important in terms of us proving concept. So I was very very involved in in the market research.
Good. So that's Property. Obviously, your the brokerage as well. A bit about what do you like to do with your spare time when you've got spare time, I guess.
I don't really have much spare time at the minute. I do, I try and recently have not been so much, but I do like to sort of keeping at the boxing club just for sort of fitness. I love my carp fishing.
Right.
But I just do not have time for that.
You need a lot of time for carp.
Yes, you do. So I still go with my dad, and we managed to get a week in last year at our syndicate lake. So
Brilliant.
I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more in this year. But the lake we fish is in Oxford, and
Does that mean staying there for the week?
Yeah, in the bivvy. So we'll cook on the on the lakeside, and it's good fun. It is
father and son time.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and a friend as well. He comes along with us too.
What's the biggest one you've caught? I'm doing that. I'm holding one there.
In England, £39 9 ounce, I believe, and in France 64.7.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow,
big girls.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit. So we got carp fishing, obviously kids as well.
Yeah.
And
Gym boxing. Yeah. And with everything else, and I love what I do as well. So I don't see it as work.
Yeah.
Necessarily. So it's I'm happy to sort of put a shift in, shall we say?
No, well, I think ultimately it feels like you're doing something that you love because you've lived, eat, slept, and breathed it yourself.
Yeah.
Doing the piece. You've also been the tradesperson. You've then arranged finance for people, and now you've created an inclusive space where people can go and feel, and ultimately share ideas, share problems, and discover opportunities, which is hats off to. No wonder you're winning awards. So.
Yeah, like I say, it's very much down to, I know sort of I facilitate it, but it's very much down to the strength of the hosts and the delegates as well, because without good hosts at the front of the room, you haven't got a good meeting, and then without good delegates, that sort of value isn't being added from that perspective. So it's a real ecosystem that is self-fulfilling in terms of the people we're getting through the door and the the hosts that run the meetings at the front of the room.
Yeah, so what's next?
70 meetings is our target for this year a month. Wow. So 70 locations. We're looking very much so abroad now. We've got hopefully some exciting news to come very soon about a couple of countries that we're launching in, and we're just we're concentrating on our national events. We've launched some sort of masterclass training days as well, which wasn't something that when I started it I wanted to go into, but we were having a lot of people through the door, and it's about listening to the delegates that they were asking. If we were going to sort of go into that area, and also we were getting people through the door that were spending a lot of money, sort of 12, 15, 25 grand on courses that just weren't delivering. So I sat back and I thought, can we do this and sort of stay true to ourselves? So we've got a masterclass launching this Saturday. It's 50 quid plus VAT, and then you get your food as well. So it's at the Curry House, of course, in Stoke-on-Trent. So you get a curry. You've got people like Adam Lawrence is doing a guest slot there. Gerard Davis is talking about sort of conveyancing. I'll be talking about finance, and also Adam's business partner Nick Bond will be doing a slot there as well, just about property acquisition, what to look for, what to do, what not to do. And we've also got Guillaume Black there as well. So a real valuable day for 50 quid.
Yeah.
Well, 60 quid including the VAT, and you get your food. So we're just trying to concentrate on that this year and just getting people through the door for the right reasons and making sure that we're adding that value.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing. Is that value piece, isn't it?
Yes.
You're able to deliver.
Yeah, and it's been a bit slow off the mark. I think that people think that because it's 50, 60 quid, there's going to be a huge mastermind upsell at the end of it, and there's no upsell. There's nothing to upsell. So we're just concentrating on getting people through the door, proving the value that we're going to add, and then hopefully that will gain momentum, and I'm sure it will do.
And then they can all go for a curry once a month as well.
Yeah, of course, mate. Absolutely.
Excellent. Listen, James, thank you very much for coming in to see us. Really excited to be working with you going forward. And if you've not been to one of the events, there's 50 to choose from, going up to 70.
Yeah.
And the masterminds as well. The details will be below. But thank you very much for coming in to see us today.
Me, sir.
Thank you. And thank you as well for watching.